Hello, I've got Coach Jeff Dixon with me today. I'm really excited about the opportunity to interview him. I think he'll have a lot to share that would be really good for our profession, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to get a coach's perspective with Jeff Dixon.
Josh, thank you for the opportunity, and I'll try. I've got a lot of years of experience. So,
Coach, tell me about yourself. Just how long you've been coaching, where, just tell me about yourself a little bit so everybody will get to know you a little bit.
well, so this in the coaching profession, this will conclude my 38th year, and so I've done it a long time. But about me first, because it's a part of the coaching piece, is my team, is my family, and so in July, Mandy and I would have been married. Will have been married 39 years, and so she is starting to be 40 years. She corrected me, be 40 years in July, and she's a big piece of this. She was a coach's daughter who swore she'd never marry a coach after several moves as a young one. Typically, coaches at times have to pack up and go, and but I'm glad she did. And we have three kids. All of them are they're all adults now. My two oldest are educators. My son actually coaches on staff with me, and then my youngest just graduated high school at Alvarado High School, and she's getting prepared to go off to McLennan Community College. So, but they sacrificed a lot as a coach's family, and so I'm extremely proud of them, and there's just a big a part of this ministry as I am. So.
And I think you were at, oh my goodness, this is not the right order. Ennis, Palmer, Katie.
Yeah, so it's a you do it long enough, you go to a lot of places, and I was fortunate enough to start at South Lake Carroll right out of Howard Payne, and I coached there for 3 years. I was there with a Hall of Fame staff. Literally, Bob Ledbetter is amazing. He's in the Hall of Honor. Steve Lineweaver was the OC. He's in the Hall of Honor. Ken Cook just got inducted, and he was a DC. He's in the Hall of Honor. They were all my mentors at that time. Got to coach under them. How about that?
Yeah.
And I did that for 3 years. And from there, I coached Johnston, Katy High School. He'd been there forever and kind of built that program. And that was my home. And he actually called Coach Ledbetter and said, I know you got a math teacher there that I'd like to have on staff. And so I followed that lead and left Southlake, went to Katy. And, like every coach, at some point I started getting hungry for leadership. And so I was a position coach at Katy, teaching math, and desired to climb the ladder and felt like I needed to take charge in that piece, and so I was in hot pursuit of me at that time, so I left after 4 years, and I went to be an OC. I was an offensive coordinator with Joel Berry, who coached at Carroll at the time, and he was the head coach at Rogers. And so I don't know if you knew that one.
No, I didn't.
So I was the OC at Rogers for a year, and then there I left and got my first head job. So head coaching job at Palmer, Texas, and everybody has a Palmer, and I had a chance to you're talking about learning. I learned a ton, and from there I joined Sam Harrell's staff. Goodness gracious, that's the best staff I've been a part of, and that's saying a lot coming from Carroll and coming from Katy, and that staff is pretty amazing, and I learned a ton. And I went full circle, and so there's a lot in that journey, because from Ennis I went back to Katy, and same phone call took place, and I had a chance to go back home, and I really didn't want to go. I can tell you, did not want to go back. Mandy and I both, we loved our town, we loved our job, we loved our church. Our kids were we had two at the time, and they were in schools there, and we just loved Ennis, and we had we were winning. Okay, so we had just went to the semifinals, and they hadn't been there in a while, so life was good in Ennis, and but we had been praying. We got another phone call. Hey, come back this time. You can teach whatever you want to teach, coach whatever you want to coach. We got a spot for you, and basically told Coach Johnston, no, we're going to stay put. He said, well, would you please, I want to teach math. And there wasn't a math position. It was any other position but math. And long story short, we told him, no, we're going to keep praying. And he called back about the last week of school and said, we got a spot for you. We had a math teacher all of a sudden resign. We weren't expecting it. God orchestrated every bit of that. And there's a lot of things that took place. We made that move, and it was hard. It's hard to leave that staff at Ennis, but we did. And a lot of things have taken place since that wouldn't have if we hadn't been obedient to God's movement there. So at Katy, I served there 5 more years, and I was able to serve as offensive coordinator there at that time, and that opened another head coaching opportunity. I left there for Alvarado, and I served there as their AD and their head football coach for 17 seasons in a blink. That was a long stint. Yes. And I retired from Alvarado, and then God opened a door to go and coach in a private school, and that's where I am right now. Yeah. So Southwest Christian School.
17 years. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing to be at one place. So I know.
Considering when I came, I was a 6th coach in 8 years. So there was a carousel. Coaches communities go through that from time to time.
Yeah.
And so although Alvarado had a history of doing well, there's a good football town. Okay. But they were going about a decade. It was rough. Yeah. And I was number 6 guy in about 8 years, and we started off the season 0-6. So I thought, well, they're going to be hiring again, but we turned it around in a hurry, and it was a good place for my family.
I've talked to so many coaches that worked with you as their head coach at Alvarado, and they just go on and on about how much they enjoyed working for you and with you, and they got nothing but respect. So there's a lot of guys that really look up to you from that little 17-year stint. Also, why did you choose coaching?
So originally, I chose it because I love to compete. Okay, I played football at Howard Payne, and I went there. Sad to say, I didn't go to Howard Payne for the academic piece. I went because I had a chance to go play ball, and I could get education at the same time, and so I did that. And there are a lot of men that influenced me in the coaching world, and so I knew that's what I wanted to do. So I chose a teaching field. That's a big one, guys. If you're going to go that route, pick a field that's desirable, and PE is not really desirable. I chose math. I had a PE degree, but I also chose math as a teaching field, and so I went that route. And I went in it because I like the sport. I like to compete. After a year in it, not even a full year, I realized that there's probably more to it than just that. And so it soon became my calling. So as I matured and my faith grew, I realized that, man, there's guys out here that don't have the parental back support that I had, and a lot of them. I mean, I saw a side of life that I didn't know until I got into education, and so that was why.
What are some of the things that you enjoy or enjoyed about coaching?
Oh, the field house and the coaches. We spent a lot of hours together, and there's a lot of funny stories and some great men You invest your lives around those guys, and so that part has been good. I've enjoyed every bit of it. So when I retired, I probably missed that part more than anything. Was just the field house, just the kids and the coaches that are in and out of there.
Yeah. All right. What are some things that you don't like about coaching? List is long. Huh?
Yeah, but it can be. That the hours are beat down, okay, and so my family is everything to me, and Tom Landry was the guy that I looked up to. I never met him, but I watched him from afar, and he back when I was growing up, the Cowboys, they were very respected, and they were America's team greatly because of him.
Yeah.
And his faith was strong, and he would tell you God first, family second, job third, and well, I get it out of whack sometimes, and I have in this profession. It's easy to put work first, and then to put other people ahead of your family. They take a back seat sometimes, and so the fact that they've had to sacrifice so much just so I can fulfill this calling, that's been a hard.
Yeah.
Now they're great, and they know that it's a ministry. They're just as part of the ministry as I am, and that helps. But the time away from home is the hardest part of this profession.
Yeah. What stands out to you about how coaching has changed over your years as a coach?
Yeah, so it has. The outside of X's and O's was changed. It's I think the students, they have a lot more baggage now, it appears, than what they did 38 years ago. And kids are kids, and the world's the world, but these little cell phones have added to, just in one example, have added to the stuff that you battle with. And 38 years ago, there wasn't as much. And so athletics meant something. Everybody wanted to play football and be a part of or be in athletics. And football is the front porch of any school. And most folks want to be a part of that. And nowadays, that maybe not as much. There's other things pulling them away. So that part has probably changed the biggest. Although everybody loves to watch Super Bowl and loves to watch it still, but there's just a lot of stuff out there that a battle for.
Yeah. Well, and not to mention, we used to have to go trade a VCR tape on a Friday night or a Saturday morning, and just to be able to get prepared for.
So, I'm glad you brought that up. But so it has evolved, obviously, and you would think technology, it's all great, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and they it does so much for you, so you think it would save time, but it's just added to things that you have to do that you can do. Yeah. But so I did grow up in the era, but even before VHS, when we had 16 millimeter reel tape, my first year coaching, we had to go and exchange. We had to wait till the film was developed, and there's only certain areas in Texas that would do that. You'd go and you'd wait, and so I got to live through that piece, short part, and then it jumped right into the VHS tape. Yeah, and so
I think it's interesting that you bring up that the technology, now we just push a button, share the film. We don't have to drive anywhere, that part's great.
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point, and that is that, okay, well, now look at what all you can do. And now you just dive in, and coaches are so anal, and we want to get every advantage we can. So now we're just diving in and
Yeah.
making so many little reports that we never had back then. And it definitely will keep your staff busy.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But that has been a big, football's evolved too, obviously a little bit, but you still got to tackle. You still got to throw and catch football and still play defense. I mean, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
But the technology piece, I mean, you have drone angles, you have end zone angles, you have side angles, you tie them all together. And there's such great tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and if you got one school that has it, you don't want to give them a competitive advantage. So then you got to find the money or raise the money or whatever so you can have it. And
Yeah.
okay, this is a kind of a program question. What are some guiding principles that you recommend for a coach to guide him along his path?
Yeah. Well, for me, my faith, and it guides everything for me. Coaches Outreach is a ministry that my wife and I, in fact, it was Coaches Outreach. We were at a retreat, and my wife came to the point where she realized that this does involve me as a ministry. And I don't know if that would have happened if it hadn't been for Coaches Outreach. It's a ministry that supports coaches. There's kind of a three-part ministry. One big part of the ministry are materials and Bible study. That's the biggest piece. They're all over the country now, but it kind of parallels FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. But Coaches Outreach, they have Bible studies. They pattern after your seasons. So, and they offer them to schools, right? So there's a fall study and a spring study. So the fall study is usually 12 weeks long. And I would encourage you, any coach, to surround yourself around programs like that, even in the fall. So there were many in the early days. I hate to say this, I wouldn't do it in the fall because it's kind of busy. So I do it in the spring and wouldn't. And my time spent on the Ennis staff, and I realized in a hurry that we're going to do it in the fall. And let me tell you, I managed the season so much differently because of my involvement in God's Word. And yeah, it does. It takes a little bit of your time. We would usually meet in the mornings, early on Friday mornings. So get up early and go. And I've never regretted going to a study ever. Even maybe after a long Thursday night, or it's been a long week, or we had traveled the Thursday night before when we come in, I'd get up and go, and 100% of the time, it was worth it. And so I would encourage that growth helps keeps your priorities in check, and it really drove everything I did throughout the program. So
yeah. All right. How do you develop the right culture in your athletic program?
Well, I think you got to talk about it every day, and then you have to do things to address whatever your core values are daily. And so I had a chance to live through the COVID piece, which was horrible for everybody. And I saw the value of meeting with our kids every day, because when they took that away, and then we got it back a year and a half later, there was a lot of time that missed that for our program there was a hole there, and it which took years to build. It took a blink to lose, and so your core, and yet your all season centered around it. You have development. Your relationship building with your kids is all centered around it. And then you don't deviate from it, and you have core values that you believe in. Don't change them from year to year to year to year. Consistency and just what the work you do needs to be centered around those values.
Thanks, Coach. What does success look like? How do you define success?
Well, you would think it looks like state championship rings and banners and we all want to win, right? And it's competitive athletics.
Yeah.
You don't win typically. You're packing up at some point and moving, but that's not what it's all about. It's the life relationships that you build. There's a lot of folks that you coach that don't have a home structure. They certainly don't have the man in their life that's going to shoot straight with them, tell them right from wrong, hold them accountable. That to me, that's it. That's why we do what we do, and winning it'll take, if you do the culture piece and you do the work piece and you're sound at what you do, and that piece will take care of itself. But you can't miss the piece, the influence that a coach has on lives is powerful. So.
Okay. How important is faith in our profession? Faith in your coaches, players, others, God?
Yeah.
You've kind of already talked about it a little bit, I know, but.
Yeah, well, there's, we're influencers, and as an influencer, I take it pretty serious, and the opportunity to that's not necessarily what you say; it's how you live and how you treat people and how you work. All that to me reflects me in my faith, and it's life. It's eternal. That part. Now. There's folks out there that don't believe that, and they're still influencing kids, and so I just think that it's important that we get that part right. Certainly, as a person that has a strong faith. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not how many ball games you won; it's how many lives you've impacted for Him, for our Savior, and as a believer, to me that's everything. And even in the public school setting, I've never shied away from being who I am, and I don't think I have to throw it down their throat. I think folks. They see you, they know you, they hear how you talk, they hear what you listen to, they see how you treat people.
Yeah.
And to me, it guides everything.
Yeah. I so respect what you just said, Coach, but I want to ask you too about faith in your coaches. You've been doing it a long time. How important is it that you believe in your coaches and they believe in you, and you're believing in the kids and the kids are believing in the coaches? How do you look at that?
Well, you're not gonna, if any of that is out of whack, you're not gonna achieve the success that you want. And that what you just, that statement you said is a Gordon Wood statement. And there's nothing better than him, but you better build a culture that has players who believe in each other, right? If you don't have teammates that have faith in each other, we got an issue. Okay, but it goes deeper than that. Those players, they need to believe in the coaches too.
Yeah.
And so if they're not coachable, if they don't trust you, they're not willing to run through a brick wall for you, then we got problems. Okay, but it goes a step further, and we have to trust them and know that they're going to do what we ask them to do. So we get all three of those things together, then you're going to win a lot of ball games. And so, but if any of that's out of whack, you got a culture problem, and you might win some games, but I don't know if you win a lot of championships.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Will you share some thoughts on what helped you become the person and coach that you are? I know you've already kind of spoke to this quite a bit, but
well, yeah, it's my parents. I mean, I was fortunate to have a family structure, and so I'm who I am because of them. Okay, and now I spent an awful lot of time in the field house, in the locker room, in the arena, all my life, and so there's other people that have invested, and those people are coaches, they're educators, classroom teachers that have impacted me. So that goes deep on that part. So although I was blessed to have a family, I was blessed to have people that influenced me, that taught me how to not make excuses. They held me accountable by maybe give me a grade I deserved, and taught me how to work. And so I was fortunate because I had some good influencers. Maybe that's one reason why I went into coaching. But I had a math teacher, several that in high school and college that meant a lot to me. My high school coaches, man, they could walk on water. I mean, they were good men, and I could tell they loved not just me but us. And I just I thought that was cool. They were coaches. I wanted to be like them. And then and had what a blessing it was to have a chance to go play at the next level, and see those guys, and they even dialed it up a notch, and to be around. Bill Hicks was my head coach and in college, but he put guys around him that were Hall of Famers, Bill Anderson, and they influenced me.
Yeah.
So,
anything else I haven't covered before I let you go here?
It's been good. It's the best profession in the world, and it's hard. And that I didn't touch on it a while ago. You asked what's changed in the coaching world. Well, the education piece has a little bit. You better be a teacher. You better take care of business in the classroom, where you won't be coaching long. And honestly, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
The same passion that it takes to prepare for football or whatever sport you're coaching. You better prepare for your lessons and how you're teaching those kids to motivate them to be successful. If you do that, the administration will see it and they'll recognize it, and you'll have a great career. We can always find every year. I still do today. I try to find out what the heck I need to do better, and whether it's in the classroom or on the practice field. But that if you do all that, you'll have a good career. There's, sad to say, the average life of an educator is 7 years, what they tell me.
Wow.
And what a shame.
That's scary.
And well, it is, because I've lived it for almost 40. And I look back at the lives that I know I've impacted. I wouldn't have impacted those lives if I just coached 7 years. And truth be known, those lives have impacted me too. Um, you can make more money doing a lot of things, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a better profession, just personally speaking.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I so appreciate Coach Dixon for sharing a coach's perspective. I've enjoyed it, and I think it's something that a lot of us need to hear. And I'm encouraged by what he said. As coaches, we need to love kids, and we need to hold them accountable. We need to hold them to a standard. We need to show them that they can be held to a standard and they can achieve, and so many other things. But love those kids, and trying to put our best foot forward. And I appreciate Coach Dixon kind of letting the river flow a little bit. Us older guys, we've been through it and done a lot, but sometimes we're not sharing that like we need to, or have the opportunity like this interview where he can share that. And so I appreciate him taking the time to do that, and very thankful. And I wish all you guys the best. And you've heard Jeff Dixon with a coach's perspective.
thank you. Thank you, Josh.